In the outer edges of the galaxy, far from the crowded trade routes and council worlds, lay a planet almost forgotten by time. Its name was Arendor, a world of lush forests, sparkling rivers, and mountains that touched the sky. But its beauty could not protect it from danger. Arendor was home to the Virelians, a gentle and peaceful species who had lived for generations without ever building weapons or spaceships. They trusted the stars to remain calm, believing that no one would want to harm a world so quiet and hidden. The Virelians were small, with soft green skin and large, expressive eyes that shone with curiosity. They built homes among the trees and mountains, carefully shaping their villages to blend with nature. Their cities did not hum with machines, but with the laughter of children and the song of birds. They farmed, studied their planet, and created art, music, and stories about the stars. For centuries, Arendor was invisible to the wider galaxy. But peace in a galaxy full of ambition is fragile. On the edges of known space, raiders, mercenaries who attacked planets for profit, kept expanding their reach. The Virelians, naive to the cruelty of others, had no idea that one day, their skies might darken with warships, and their homes might face destruction. It was on a quiet morning when Captain Leora Dane of the human exploratory fleet first saw the planet. Her ship, the Starfire, was on a mission to map unknown star systems. Dane had spent years among the stars, exploring worlds that were beautiful but often dangerous. She had seen countless planets abandoned, destroyed, or enslaved, but something about the small, peaceful glow of Arendor made her pause. "Star charts don't show anything here," said Lieutenant Rami Solis, Dane's second in command. He looked at the readings on the display screen, puzzled. "No council systems. No known settlements. This is unusual." Dane leaned closer to the viewfinder, staring at the swirling blue and green of the planet below. "Let's drop closer," she said. "There's something alive down there. I can feel it." The Starfire descended slowly, passing through wisps of clouds until the forests and mountains of Arendor came into view. From orbit, the Virelian small cities could be seen nestled within the trees and rivers. There were no walls, no signs of weapons, just living structures designed to be one with the environment. It was a planet that seemed to breathe. As Dane watched, she noticed movement near the largest settlement. Small figures were gathering in a clearing. They were Virelians, and they seemed unaware of the enormous ship watching them from orbit. Dane felt a mixture of awe and concern. They were fragile, vulnerable, not ready to face the harshness of the galaxy. "Captain," Solis said, pointing to a series of blinking dots on the radar. "We're not alone. Sensors show multiple approaching ships. They're small but fast. Likely raiders." Dane frowned. She had suspected it. "They've found Arendor," she said quietly. "We can't leave them unprotected." The Starfire crew worked quickly. They activated cloaking fields and shield generators around the planet's orbit. Dane knew the Virelians had no idea what was coming, and it would be up to humans to protect them. But she also knew that the Galactic Council, the governing body of interstellar civilizations, often ignored worlds like Arendor. They would not send help, not for a planet so small, so unarmed. "They don't have a chance without us," Dane said. "We have to act," Solis nodded. "We'll need to approach carefully. We can't scare them, but we need to prepare them somehow." As the Starfire descended into the lower atmosphere, Dane thought about the Virelians. Their lives had been simple, filled with music, stories, and community. Humans had come to the stars with technology, weapons, and strategy, but they also carried empathy and courage. Dane understood that the true challenge would not just be defending the planet, but showing the Virelians that someone cared enough to fight for them. On the ground, in the clearing, the Virelians looked up for the first time in their lives at a massive ship descending from the sky. Some screamed in surprise, others froze in awe. Among them, a young Virelian named Kaylee stepped forward, curiosity shining in her eyes. She had often dreamed of the stars, imagining strange beings in distant worlds, but she had never thought they would come to her home. The humans made their first contact gently. Small, hovering drones projected light patterns and translated sounds into the Virelian language. "We are here to help," a calm voice said. "You are not alone." The Virelians stared, uncertain. For centuries, their lives had been simple and safe, and now they faced beings of incredible power. But in Dane's eyes, they saw trust, not threat. Slowly, Kaylee approached the drones, reaching out to touch one. The light shifted and pulsed, communicating warmth. "What is this?" she asked, her voice trembling but curious. It's a message, Dane said from the control panel inside the Starfire. We want to help you protect your home. But danger is coming. Before Kaylee could respond, alarms blared on the human ship. Raider ships detected. They're entering the system, Solus shouted. On the Starfire's view screen, tiny black dots began to approach Arendor, fast and menacing. They're raiders, Dane said, her jaw tight, and they will destroy everything if we don't act. The humans quickly deployed drones that could fly into the forests and hills, creating traps and early warning systems. They used their technology to enhance natural barriers. Thick vines became electrified fences. Rivers were guided to create quick flooding channels, and caves were reinforced with energy shields. The humans worked tirelessly, preparing the Varelians' home for the first battle many of them would ever see. Meanwhile, the Varelians watched, fascinated and frightened. They had never imagined war. Callie stood beside Dane's small team, absorbing every instruction. She wanted to help even though she had no idea how. We will fight with you, she said softly, surprising even herself. As the first Raider scouts broke through the outer clouds, the humans and Varelians faced a critical moment. The Raiders were aggressive, firing beams that carved the trees and mountains. But the humans' shields absorbed the worst of the attack, and the Varelians' hidden knowledge of their forests allowed them to guide the defense intelligently. For the first time, the Varelians realized they were not helpless. With humans at their side, they had a chance. The air was filled with a strange mix of fear, hope, and courage. They had never felt it before, and it was overwhelming. Captain Dane looked down at the young Varelian Kaylee, standing tall despite the danger. She knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy might have abandoned Arendor, but humans had chosen differently, and that choice would change everything. As night fell over Arendor, the first faint lights of battle flickered in the forests below. The Varelians were scared, but they were no longer alone. And high above, in orbit, the humans prepared to do something no one else in the galaxy dared. Fight for a world that had been forgotten. The stars above twinkled like distant eyes watching. And for the first time in centuries, Arendor had a chance to survive. The first night on Arendor passed quietly, though tension hung over the forests like morning mist. The Varelians had never seen anything like the human ships, the drones, or the glowing shields around their villages. They slept in clusters, whispering about the strange visitors who had come from the stars to protect them. Kali, the young Varelian, could not sleep at all. She kept walking through the village, watching the humans adjust equipment, calibrate sensors, and prepare for what might come next. Captain Leora Dane noticed Kaylee's curiosity and knelt down beside her. You should be resting, Dane said softly. You'll need all your strength tomorrow. I can't sleep, Kaylee replied. I want to help. I want to protect my home. Dane smiled, recognizing the same courage she had seen in humans many times. Courage is good, she said. But knowledge is better. Let me teach you something tonight. They walked to a clearing near the river where the humans had set up small portable displays. Dane showed Kaylee how the drones worked, how the shields could bend around the mountains, and how they could use the forests to hide from enemies. Kelly's eyes widened with each explanation. She had always thought her world was fragile, but now she saw that it could be strong, with the right guidance. By sunrise, the humans had begun teaching the Varelians basic defensive strategies. The first lesson was simple: observe, hide, and communicate. The Varelians were quick learners, and their knowledge of the forest made them natural at spotting hidden threats. Humans and Varelians worked together to map escape routes, hidden passages, and natural traps that could slow raider forces. Meanwhile, Captain Dane coordinated the orbital defense systems. Shield generators hummed softly, cloaking devices shimmered in invisible waves, and drones zipped through the treetops, silently monitoring for signs of attack. The humans' presence was becoming a lifeline for Arendor, and Dane knew that time was their greatest enemy. Every moment the raiders were approaching, the Varelians' chance of survival became smaller if they were unprepared. The raiders arrived in waves the next morning. Small scout ships zipped through the clouds, firing energy beams at the forests. Trees fell, rivers swelled, and animals scattered. But the humans' preparations held. Drones intercepted some attacks, and shields absorbed the rest. From her perch in a hilltop clearing, Kaylee watched in awe as the humans directed the defense like conductors of a symphony. Use the river channels, Dane instructed. Lead them to the swampy area near the mountains. They can't maneuver well there. The Varelians helped. Using simple signals, they guided animals, redirected small streams, and even used their voices to warn hidden humans and drones of approaching danger. For the first time, they felt the power of teamwork and strategy. Fear was still there, but it was joined by hope. During a quiet moment, Lieutenant Rami Solis approached Dane. "Captain, I've never seen a species adapt so quickly. The Varelians are learning faster than I expected." Dane nodded, her eyes on the horizon where the raider ships circled like black birds of prey. "They have to," she said. "Their survival depends on it. And we've done our part to teach them how to fight, even if it's just to survive for now." Back in the villages, Kaylee became a symbol of the Varelians' courage. She organized small groups to help carry supplies, watch the forests, and practice simple maneuvers. She was small, but her heart was fearless, and the humans noticed. "This one has the mind of a strategist," Dane said quietly to Solis. "If she keeps learning, she could lead her people one day." The day grew long, and the raiders continued their probing attacks. They seemed frustrated, unable to find weaknesses. Dane realized that this first encounter was testing not only their strength but also their ingenuity. The humans had relied on technology, but the Varelians had given them something they could not calculate: deep knowledge of their own land. Together, they formed an unexpected but powerful alliance. By evening, the attacks paused. Raider ships retreated to a nearby asteroid field to regroup. Dane saw the relief in the Varelians' eyes and allowed herself a small smile. "They'll be back," she warned. "And next time, they'll come stronger. But we're ready for them." That night, Dane and her team held a strategy meeting. "We can't just defend Arendor," she said. "We have to show them that this world is worth protecting. We have to give the Varelians tools and knowledge to fight alongside us. That's the only way they will survive long term." Solis nodded. "We can set up more traps, improve the drone patrols, and create decoy settlements. That should confuse the raiders and give the Varelians a fighting chance." Dane looked at the starry sky above, thinking of the vast galaxy beyond. Many worlds would ignore Arendor. Many would consider the Varelians weak and expendable. But the humans had chosen differently. They would shield this small planet from harm, even if it meant defying the Council's rules. The next morning, Dane and her crew worked with the Varelians to set up more advanced defenses. They built simple energy shields over important buildings, hidden underground bunkers, and alarm systems that could detect approaching ships long before they appeared. The humans explained how to use these tools, making sure the Varelians understood their purpose. Kali absorbed every lesson. She ran drills, helped guide the placement of sensors, and practiced alert signals with the villagers. Her confidence grew, and soon other Varelians began following her lead. They began to understand that courage was not just standing still in fear, it was acting to protect what they loved. As the day ended, the humans introduced their most important tool: the defense drones. They were small, agile, and could move silently through the forests. Some mimicked birds while others resembled small forest creatures. The Varelians were amazed at their design, and the drones quickly became a part of the defense system, reporting enemy movements and even distracting raiders when needed. The Varelians' relationship with the humans deepened. They began to understand that these visitors were not here to take anything. They were here to protect. In return, the humans learned from the Varelians' patience, knowledge of the land, and courage. It was a rare partnership, built not out of necessity alone, but out of respect and empathy. That evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, Dane looked out over the forests. "They are learning fast," she said. "But the raiders will not give up. Tomorrow could be the real test." Kaylee approached her, carrying a small wooden model of a forest village. "Captain," she said, "I've been thinking, maybe we can hide our homes better. Maybe we can make paths that only we know. And the raiders won't find us." Dane smiled. "Exactly. That's why you're learning strategy. You understand your world in a way we never could. Together, we can make this planet unbreakable." That night, the wind whispered through the trees, carrying a mixture of hope and tension. The humans slept lightly, ready to respond at a moment's notice. The Varelians, inspired by Kaylee, practiced their drills and prepared themselves in ways they never imagined. For the first time, they felt not just fear but the thrill of possibility, that maybe, just maybe, they could protect their home. And far above, the stars watched silently. The galaxy might have abandoned Arendor, but for now, humans had chosen to shield it. And in doing so, they were changing the course of history, not just for one small world, but for the idea that courage, strategy, and compassion could defy the darkness of the universe. Tomorrow the battle would continue. But tonight there was hope, and hope Dane knew was a powerful shield. The next morning the forests of Arendor were quiet, but tension was thicker than ever. Humans and Varelians had spent days preparing defenses, learning strategies and fortifying the villages. Yet, in the galaxy beyond the planet's orbit, a storm of politics and greed was brewing. News of human interference had reached the Galactic Council. The council was composed of representatives from dozens of advanced civilizations, governing trade, exploration, and war. Many council members considered Arendor unimportant, a small, defenseless planet not worth the resources to protect. Some even viewed the humans' intervention as a challenge to their authority. "Captain Dane," said Lieutenant Solus, scanning the star maps, "we've received a message from the council. They are ordering us to withdraw from Arendor immediately. They say this planet is not our responsibility." Dane's jaw tightened. "Not our responsibility," she echoed. "We can't abandon them. They have no way to defend themselves. They'll be destroyed if we leave." Solus nodded grimly. "I know, but the council can punish us. We could be recalled, fined, or worse." Dane shook her head. "Some rules are wrong. If we follow them blindly, innocent lives will be lost. Arendor is worth protecting no matter what the council says." Meanwhile, the Varelians continued their preparations. Kali moved confidently through the village, helping position shields, guiding the placement of sensor drones, and teaching others how to react to alarms. The humans had trained them well, but the young Varelians' courage and intelligence had given them a new hope. The raiders had not forgotten Arendor either. Small scout ships approached again, probing the forests for weaknesses. The humans detected them immediately. "They're testing us," Dane said. "They want to see if we're strong enough to fight. Let's give them a lesson." Human and Varelian forces were ready. Hidden drones waited. Traps had been placed along forest paths, and energy shields protected vital areas. The Varelians moved quietly, unseen by the approaching scouts. Their knowledge of the forests allowed them to predict the raiders' paths. The first clash began when a group of raiders entered a narrow canyon. Humans fired warning beams, startling the attackers, while hidden Varelians triggered small traps that blocked their escape. The raiders were skilled, but they had never faced coordinated defense from both humans and a native species. Panic spread among them. Kaylee watched from a safe distance as her fellow Varelians participated in the defense. Her heart raced with fear and excitement. For the first time, she understood what it meant to protect something precious. She signaled to a group hiding near a stream, and they moved quickly to block the raiders' retreat. The humans guided the operation remotely, coordinating drones and shields with precision. As the battle continued, the council's interference became more serious. A message arrived directly to the Starfire. "Leave the planet immediately. Withdrawal of forces is mandatory. Failure to comply will result in severe penalties." Dane clenched her fists. "They don't understand. This isn't about politics. This is about lives. If we leave, the Varelians will die." Solus spoke quietly. "Captain, you know what defying the council means. Are you ready for the consequences?" "I'm ready," Dane said firmly. "Some things are more important than rules. This is one of them." The raiders regrouped for a larger attack, this time bringing more ships and firepower. Their energy beams carved paths through the forests, and explosions echoed through the valleys. Humans fired back from hidden positions in the Starfire's orbit, using shields and drones to protect the Varelians. The forest became a battleground, with humans and Varelians moving together in perfect coordination. Kaylee and a small group of Varelians used the terrain to their advantage. They guided the raiders into narrow passes where automated traps and drones created confusion. Trees fell to block paths, rivers redirected the raiders' ships, and hidden energy fields slowed their movement. Every action was a lesson in strategy, and the Varelians executed it flawlessly. In the chaos, Dane realized that this was no longer just a fight for survival. It was a lesson in courage and leadership. The Varelians were learning to protect themselves, and the humans were guiding them, not replacing them. This partnership was stronger than she had imagined. As the battle reached its peak, the raiders realized they were being outmaneuvered. Their numbers were larger, but their lack of knowledge of the terrain and underestimation of the Varelians' courage worked against them. One by one, their ships were forced to retreat. The humans had not destroyed them, but they had shown strength and strategy. The raiders would think twice before returning. After the fight, the Varelians celebrated quietly. No one had expected them to survive their first battle, and yet here they were, stronger and more united. Callie stood proudly, watching her people gain confidence with each passing moment. The humans had done more than defend Arendor. They had inspired courage. However, Dane knew the victory was temporary. The Council's orders still loomed. They had declared that any further interference would bring consequences. Yet as she looked at the Varelians, she could not regret her choice. "We've done the right thing," she said softly to Solus. "The Council may punish us, but these lives are worth it." "They deserve a chance to survive," Solus nodded. "I agree. And we've given them more than survival. We've given them hope and courage. That is something no council can take away." The next day, humans and Varelians worked together to repair damaged shields, rebuild parts of the villages, and strengthen their defenses. They practiced drills, coordinated signals, and improved strategies for future attacks. The Varelians were learning quickly, and Kaylee became a symbol of leadership for her people. News of the human defense of Arendor began to spread quietly through nearby systems. Some civilizations admired their courage, while others warned that defying the council was dangerous. Dane paid little attention to politics. Her focus was on the planet below and the lives of the innocent beings she had chosen to protect. That night, as the stars shone over Arendor, Dane reflected on the events of the past days. She knew the raiders would return, possibly with greater numbers. She also knew the council might escalate their interference. But she also knew that the humans and Varelians together had created something stronger than fear, a shield of hope and courage. Kaylee approached her, holding a small model of the village with miniature shields and drones. "Captain Dane," she said, "we can protect our homes. We've learned so much. Even if they come back, we can face them." Dane smiled, placing a hand on Kaylee's shoulder. "Exactly. And one day, you will teach others the same lessons. You've become a true leader, Callie. Your people will survive because of your courage." In the distance, the faint hum of raider ships could be heard. They had retreated for now, but they would return. The humans and Varelians prepared, knowing the next encounter could be more dangerous. Yet for the first time there was confidence. Arendor was no longer defenseless, and the Varelians had the tools and courage to fight for themselves. The galaxy might have abandoned them, but the humans had chosen differently. Dane knew that this choice could have consequences, yet she also understood that protecting the innocent was worth any risk. Arendor had become a symbol of hope, a world where courage, intelligence, and unity could challenge even the most powerful threats. As the night deepened, Dane looked up at the stars. Somewhere in the galaxy, council members would be discussing their actions. Somewhere, raiders were planning their next attack. But here on Arendor, humans and Varelians had learned the power of partnership. They had discovered that even in a galaxy full of betrayal and danger, hope could survive, and so, as the forest whispered with the quiet determination of a people ready to defend their home, Dane prepared for the battles ahead. The raiders would return. The council might interfere. But Arendor had found its shield, not of steel alone, but of courage, strategy, and hope. The fight was far from over, but the bond between humans and Varelians had grown unbreakable. Together they would face whatever the galaxy sent their way, and that was something no council or raider could take away. The dawn over Arendor was not peaceful. The first light of the sun glinted off the energy shields and the metal of drones scattered throughout the forests. Birds sang as if unaware of the danger, but the Varelians and humans were alert. The raiders had returned, larger and more determined than before. Captain Leora Dane stood atop a hill overlooking the main village. Beside her, Lieutenant Rami Solis monitored the raider ships approaching through the clouds. "They've brought heavy fighters this time," Solis said, his voice tense. "They mean business." Dane nodded, her gaze steady. "We've prepared for this. The Varelians know what to do. Our drones, shields, and traps will slow them down. And if we work together, we can protect Arendor completely." Below, the Varelians were not afraid. Callie moved with purpose, organizing her people, placing hidden alarms and guiding children and elders to safe locations. She had grown from a curious young Varelian into a confident leader. The humans had taught her strategy, but her courage had inspired her people. The raider ship swooped down through the thick forests, firing beams of energy. Trees split and rivers splashed violently under the assault, but the defenses held. Automated drones intercepted attacks while the energy shields absorbed most of the damage. The Varelians, hidden and protected, moved through secret paths, leading the raiders into narrow valleys and forests designed to confuse them. Captain Dane directed the humans from the starfire and from positions on the ground. "Use the canyon traps," she shouted. "Lead them to the river bend. Don't let them reach the village." Callie, leading a group of Varelians, signaled silently. They moved quickly through the underbrush, triggering hidden pitfalls and activating small energy nets. Raider ships got caught in the confusion, colliding with trees and rocks. Panic spread among the attackers. "This is incredible," Solis said, watching the battlefield. "They're using strategy and courage together. The Varelians have become real fighters." Dane smiled slightly. "They are not just fighting, they are protecting their home. That makes all the difference." The raiders, realizing they were being outmaneuvered, sent a massive strike team to destroy the main village. Dane anticipated this move. "Activate the final defenses," she ordered. "The energy shields around the village, now." Shimmering barriers rose instantly around homes and vital structures, making the village nearly invisible from the sky. Drones swarmed the attackers, confusing them with illusions of false targets and decoy movements. The Varelians watched in amazement as humans and technology worked seamlessly to protect them. Kaylee ran between groups of villagers, giving instructions. "Stay calm. Follow the paths we practiced. Trust each other." Her voice carried authority, and everyone listened. For the first time, the Varelians felt truly empowered. They were no longer helpless, they were defenders of their world. The battle raged for hours. The raiders were skilled, but they were unprepared for the combined force of humans and Varelians. Trees and rivers were used as weapons. Traps slowed enemy ships, and drones provided both reconnaissance and defense. Energy shields absorbed devastating attacks, protecting the people below. During the fight, Dane noticed a group of raiders attempting to bypass the defenses and target the starfire directly. She directed a small strike team of humans to intercept them, while drones created diversions to confuse the attackers. "We can't let them reach us," she shouted. Kaylee, watching from the village, realized that the humans were fighting not just for her people but alongside them. Her courage strengthened. "We will not fail," she called to the Varelians, rallying them to defend every path and hidden corner of the forests. By evening, the raiders were exhausted. Many of their ships had been damaged or destroyed, and their forces were scattered. It was clear that Arendor could not be taken by force. The humans and Varelians had shown unity, strategy, and courage, and it had worked. The last raider ships retreated, disappearing into the stars. Silence fell over the forests, broken only by the sounds of rebuilding and quiet celebration. Varelians hugged each other, grateful for the humans' guidance and their own newfound strength. Captain Dane walked through the village, observing the aftermath. The people had survived, and more than that, they had learned to defend themselves. "You did well," she said to Kaylee. "Your people fought bravely, and you led them with wisdom and courage." Kaylee smiled shyly. "I learned from you. From all of you. We couldn't have done this alone." Dane shook her head. "No, we didn't do it alone. We did it together. That is what makes a difference." The next morning, humans and Varelians began rebuilding permanently. Energy shields remained around the villages, and drones continued to patrol the forests. Humans trained the Varelians in advanced strategies, teaching them how to anticipate attacks, communicate quickly, and use their environment to their advantage. The Varelians became capable defenders, and their confidence grew with each passing day. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council continued to send warnings, but Dane ignored them. She knew that rules meant little when lives were at stake. The humans had chosen a path of courage and protection, and they would not abandon it. Their actions were a statement. Strength is measured not just in technology but in heart and will. Callie looked out over the forests with pride. "We are ready now," she said softly. "We can protect our home if anyone comes again." Dane smiled. "And if anyone does come, they will learn that Arendor is not a planet to be taken lightly. Your courage, your people, and your unity are its greatest shields." The Varelians celebrated their survival with music and storytelling. They sang songs of bravery and hope, and the humans joined in, enjoying the rare peace after a long fight. Children ran through the forests laughing while elders shared wisdom. The forests were alive with life and joy, not fear. In the days that followed, Dane prepared to leave Arendor. The humans could not stay forever, but they left behind knowledge, technology, and guidance. The Varelians were ready to defend themselves, and the bond formed between species would last generations. Before departing, Dane spoke to the entire village. "We came to protect you because it was the right thing to do. Now you have the strength to protect yourselves. Remember the lessons you learned and continue to grow. Arendor is yours to defend and yours to cherish." Kaylee stepped forward holding a small emblem she had crafted, a symbol of unity between humans and Varelians. "We will remember," she said. "We will protect our world and we will honor your courage." The starfire lifted off slowly, leaving Arendor behind. From orbit, Dane watched the forests, rivers, and mountains below, shining under the morning sun. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The humans had made a choice that the galaxy often failed to make. They had shielded the weak, protected the innocent, and inspired hope where there was none. As the ship disappeared into the distance, the Varelians looked to the skies, no longer afraid of what might come from the stars. They had learned courage, strategy, and resilience. They had survived when the galaxy had abandoned them. And they knew that they could thrive, not because someone else protected them, but because they had chosen to fight alongside those who cared. Arendor had a new dawn, not just in the rising sun, but in the hearts of its people. Humans had come as guardians and left as friends, leaving behind a legacy of courage and hope. The galaxy might remain vast and dangerous, but one small planet had found its shield, and high above, the stars twinkled, silent witnesses to the bond forged between species, to the courage born from unity, and to the truth that even in a galaxy full of challenges, hope, compassion, and bravery could shine brighter than any star. Arendor was no longer alone. It was alive with life, courage, and the knowledge that the galaxy could not erase the strength of those who chose to protect what they loved. And in that strength, the Varelians had found not only survival, but a future, the story of Arendor humans. And Varelians would live on, not in the records of the Council, but in the hearts of all who understood that courage, unity, and compassion were the greatest powers in the galaxy. The galaxy might have abandoned them, but humans had chosen to shield them, and that choice had changed everything.